Beneath the steeple's shadow. Part 1. Your God can't hear you. Not down here. Your God can't hear you. Not down here. He said it with a smile too wide for a man so tired, bottle shaking in his hand, like it had secrets it would never speak. The words dripped into the floorboards, pooling beneath my feet. The child huddled in the corner, small and luminous, hands over ears too tender to endure the sound of men. The dog trembled beside them, fur bristling, trembling in the gravity of fear. The room itself seemed to lean closer, as if it were listening. The walls bent inward, breathing, pulsing. Shadows pooled in corners, thick as smoke, long as regrets. The air smelled of rust and spilled whiskey, and somewhere in the distance, the gravestone in the backyard whispered, "You will come here soon enough." I imagined the steeple, dark and sharp, towering over the house. Its shadow crept through the walls, a long finger pointing, accusing. The windows were mirrors reflecting not the room, but every moment I had ever feared and forgotten. Part 2. House of Twisted Bones. The house was no longer a house. The floors warped like liquid under my feet. The walls bled memories. The child's first laugh, the dog's timid yelp, the man's first swing of a fist, all replaying in a loop I could not escape. I walked through rooms that twisted into impossible shapes. Doorways led to hallways that spiraled into ceilings, then collapsed into floors that were already ceilings. The gravestone appeared in the living room, half submerged in fog, the letters etched in shifting shadows. Life and death danced side by side. The child peeked out, eyes luminous orbs in the dim. "Mama," they whispered. I reached for them, hand trembling, and felt the dog press close, spine against mine. The simplest life, the fragile pulse of living, clung to me like a candle in a storm. The husband lurched, mouth moving, words slipping like snakes over tile and shadow. No prayers reach down here. No God listens. Only us. Only the lie. His laughter rang, sharp, cracking the air like glass. Part 3. Shards of lie and truth. I picked up the empty bottle. Cold, jagged edges promised release, promised pain, promised something other than this. I imagined smashing it against the floor, letting the fragments cut away years of deception. But the truth waited in every shard. The child whimpered. I whispered into their ear, "It's not real, not him, not this." The dog's fur bristled against my palm. Its pulse thumped like a tiny drum of courage. Time bent. The walls melted into the ceiling. Ceilings folded into the floor. I saw moments of my life as fragments suspended in amber. The first lie I told to survive. The first truth I refused to speak. fleeting sparks of hope snuffed by fear. Outside, the steeple leaned closer, casting shadows like fingers. The gravestone hummed. Somewhere below the soil, death waited, patient, inevitable. And yet, somewhere else between the shards, I felt life stubbornly pulse, refusing to vanish. Part 4. The steeple's long finger. The steeple's shadow poured into the house like ink. It touched the dog, the child, and me. I could feel its chill press against my spine. Every corner of the room became a hallway to nowhere. Every mirror a window into an impossible past. The husband stumbled. No bottle, no God, no mercy. His eyes were hollow, his sins spilling like rain into a void. He swayed under the weight of his own darkness, a shadow haunting a shadow. The child gripped my hand. The dog leaned into me. And in that simple touch, I felt a pulse, fragile, stubborn, alive. A life refusing to bend entirely to fear. I imagined the gravestone splitting open, not to take us, not yet, only to whisper that death was patient, that life, too, was patient, but only if we dared to claim it. Part 5. The Hymn of Shattered Bottles. I let the bottle fall. It shattered. Each shard reflected a different memory. The child's laugh, the dog's whimper, my own trembling heart. The shards spun in slow motion, forming a kaleidoscope of fear and love, life and death. I held the child, I felt the dog, and I whispered into the darkness, "We hear ourselves now. That is enough." The husband fell into his own shadow. A man dissolved into his own lies. The house quivered, then steadied. The gravestone waited, patient. The steeple cast a shadow that trembled but could not reach us. Somewhere the sky bent into color, impossible and liquid. Somewhere the night folded into itself. Somewhere the pulse of living, small and fragile, began to thrum against the weight of shadows. Part 6. Life and death entwined. The child laughed. The dog barked softly, timid, but alive. I stepped across shards of glass and memory, and the steeple's shadow receded. The gravestone whispered a soft, distant promise. All things end, all things begin. Life and death twisted together, inseparable. Lies and truths danced. Fear shrank back, defeated not by force, but by recognition. I breathed, and the house exhaled with me, walls unbending, shadows retreating, the night finally silent. I took the child's hand, felt the dog's warmth against my legs, and whispered, "We are still here. That is enough." Somewhere beneath the steeple's shadow, beneath the gravestone's patience, beneath the empty bottle and the lie, life insisted. Shattered, trembling, alive.